Hello and welcome to another episode of a YouTube channel show that can really only be called The Popcorn King. So today is a very special day because we are doing a review of a film which everyone is calling like the best film of the year so far. Possibly, it's going to go on and definitely win a few Oscars. We're obviously talking about Dune Part Two. So Dune Part 2 is the second part of Dune Part 1, and it is directed by Denis Villeneuve. I have no idea if I'm saying that name correctly, but this director is just smashing it out of the park. Every film he does is good. Not every single film he does is amazing. I'm not saying that. I'm not in love with all of his films, but every single film he does is intelligently good. He's putting a lot of thought into these films. So who's starring in this? Who isn't starring in this film? We've got Timothée Chalamet. We've got Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Christopher Walken, Léa Seydoux, Stellan Skarsgård. It's got everyone in this film, okay? And and I've just got a lot to say about this film. So first off, what is the film about? So it's the second half, obviously, to Dune Part 1, where Paul Atreides, I'm just going to say the actor's name, I'm better at saying the actor's name. So Timothée Chalamet's character, his family's all been killed, and it's just him and his mum in the desert with a bunch of the Harkonnens. And basically, they believe Timothée Chalamet's character is fulfilling some kind of prophecy. He's some kind of space Jesus type person, and there's this huge war. It's intergalactic, it's a space opera, it's thought-provoking. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't like completely in love with the first installment, Dune Part 1. My mate's dad said it was a bit like a perfume advert, and it kind of is. Like, it does just look like beautiful people sort of walking through the desert with wind in their hair and like sort of squinting and trying to look really sexy and cool. And yeah, when you watch the first one, you are a bit like, I don't know if this is sort of lacking personality, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not sure if it's... And I felt a little bit the same with the new Blade Runner that was done by the same director. Like, I get it, it's very subdued, it's very one note, but obviously intelligent and obviously beautifully shot and obviously, reaching for something that other blockbusters aren't reaching for. So I can still appreciate it, but I have to say, like, yeah, it was lacking a bit of personality for me, the first one. And the second one, I was like, okay, the first one lacked a little bit of personality for me, but I could see what it was going for, and it was just half the story. So I still had this one in my top 10 most anticipated films of the year. And plus, it's the cast and it's the director. Like, you can't not be excited for it. And the first one was still really good. It wasn't fucking Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. It wasn't like, wow, every character is so beautifully formed and every character's got really great characteristics. Like, it just wasn't like that. It was more just, everyone kind of talks relatively seriously the whole film. And that's fine. So anyway, we get to this film, we get to part 2, and I was worried. I was like, is this going to be the same? Is this going to be that sort of same, still really good, but just not grabbing me with charisma? And to be honest with you, it is still a little bit like that, but it's done in a way more exciting way. I guess the storyline is more exciting now, because the characters are also... I mean, Timothée Chalamet's character does build and grow, and he's got more to do. And Javier Bardem's character is amazing. He's, I would say, the heart of the film, in my personal opinion. He's driving some personality into this film. Zendaya's really good. You've got a bunch of actors. You've got like some of the best actors in the world doing what can only really be called like background acting. Like, I swear, Florence Pugh has like a few lines in this. Christopher Walken's got barely any lines. Like they're really playing tiny parts, but you know that's the draw that this director has. I went to a midnight screening of it, and I was like, okay, if it's gonna be that sort of monotone, squinting, wind in the hair, desert type of film, I might struggle to stay awake because it got to like, it's a long film. It was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning by the time that film finished. But I wasn't anywhere near falling asleep, and it's because the world is so beautifully realized. Austin Butler's character, his world, his world has a black sun, so that world is sort of devoid of color, and it's this black and white, and there's this fireworks that sort of look like ink exploding in the air rather than the way we think of fireworks. And there's, instead of like jetpacks, they've just sort of got anti-gravity packs, and that's really like exciting and beautiful to watch when they just sort of silently float off the ground. The worms are so gargantuan and so big, and you're like, I never thought I could even envision what riding one of those giant worms would look like. But Denis, the director, he did it. Like, it just is great. It's so beautifully realized. The shots are beautiful. The cinematography is some of the best you've ever seen in any sci-fi film. This is real sci-fi shit. And it's also interesting because it is more about dogma, belief without evidence. It's more about messianic figures. And I find that kind of philosophy discussion really interesting, personally. And so this film hit levels inside me that the first film didn't, and it's not like all the personality, everyone suddenly became really charismatic. No, they were the same characters. It's just, the storytelling was, I guess you just got to watch it all as one film. That's what I need to do. I need to watch Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2 as one, because it's just so well realized in the second film. It's like Lawrence of Arabia or something. It's so epic in scope and in nature, and it's so realistic in a weird way. It's one of those films where you don't know if it's set in the future or in the past, right? It's like a lot of those sort of space operas are. But it's just the laws of the film. They understand their own laws that they've created, and therefore you believe it. And it's just truly exciting. The music is off the charts. It might be one of the best Hans Zimmer scores ever. The acting is incredible. What else can I say? Like, go and watch this film. The hype is real. The hype is real, and religion and shit is still a problem even today for us in our society. It still is an issue. People believing in a higher power can often be a very beautiful thing, but it can often lead to very crazy behaviors, and is really beautifully realized in this film. I have to say, like, it's really saying a lot through the prism of a sci-fi film, and I've got to say, like, I can't stop thinking about it. The imagery is so good. The music is just on my brain. I think I had a nightmare last night about Austin Butler's character. What more praise and adoration can I pile onto this film that you've probably... Just go and watch it. Find the biggest screen possible with the loudest speakers available, and open your eyes as wide as they can go until the pain of keeping your eyelids open, is too much and you've got to blink. And just watch the film as much as possible. That's what I'm going to say. Watch it as much as you can. Not as many times as you can. Go to the cinema and watch it. Go to the cinema once and watch it as much as you can, if you know what I mean. Just open your eyes and have that sci-fi film just pound you in the face. This is the sort of blockbusters we deserve. When you get films like Inception, right? When you get these blockbusters that don't pander to their audiences and treat us like adults and discuss very adult themes and complicated societal issues in the frame of a big giant sci-fi blockbuster, that's amazing. I love films like that. It's some of my favorite films. And so, like I say, watch it as much as you possibly can. Do the most watching that you can do.